Om Namo
नमो
Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Pureshu punya pavanadrikunjeshva apankatoyeshu sarhasu anantalinge samalinkrateshu chachara tirthayataneshu ananyaha. Pureshu punya pavanadrikunjeshva avapankatoeshu saritat sarhasu anantalinge samalinga chachara tirthayataneshva nannaha. Pureshu punya pavanadrikunjeshva apankatoeshu saritat sarhasu anantalinge samalankrateshu chachara yatataneshva anannaha. Please recite.
Pureshu Punyo Pavanadrikunjeshva Pankateo Yeshu Sarit Sarashu Anantalingai Samalankriteshu Chacharati Dayataneshva Nanya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Pureshu punno pavanadrikunjeshu apankataeshu sharit sharashu anantalingam shamalankritesu chacharatitan jataneshu ananya. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Pureshu punya pavanadrikunjeshu apankatoeshu sarita sarhasu anantalingai samlankriteshu chacharati yatneshu ananya. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Pureshu punya pavanadrikunjeshva apankatoyeshu sarit sarasu anantalingai samalankriteshu chacharati tayataneshva ananya.
Anyone else want to recite? Okay, so we will have word-to-word translation. Pureshu, holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura. Punya, piety. Upavana, the air. Adri, hills. Kunjeshu, the orchards. Apanka, without sin. Toeshu, in the water. Sarita, river. Sarahasu, lakes. Anantalingaha, the forms of unlimited. Samalankriteshu, being so decorated. Chachara, executed. Tirtha, places of pilgrimage. Ayataneshu, holy land. Ananyaha, alone or seeing Krishna alone. Translation. he began to travel alone, thinking only of Krishna, through various holy places like Ayodhya, Dwarka, and Mathura. He traveled where the air, hills, orchards, river, and lake are all pure and sinless, and where the forms of the unlimited decorate the temples. Thus he performed the pilgrimage progress. Purport. These arch forms of the Lord may be considered idols by the atheist, but that does not matter for persons like Vidur or his many other servants. The forms of the Lord are mentioned here as Anantalinga. Such forms of the Lord have unlimited potency, the same as that of the Lord Himself. There is no difference between the potencies of the arch and those of the personal forms of the Lord. The example of the post box, and the post office may be applied here. The little post boxes distributed all over the city have the same potency as the postal system in general. The duty of the post office is to carry letter from one place to another. If one function of carrying letters is performed without doubt, similarly, the Archamurti can also deliver the same unlimited potency of the Lord as when he is personally present. Vidur, therefore, could see nothing but Krishna in different arch forms, and unlimitedly he was able to realize Krishna alone and nothing else. Om Gyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunvitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratushay Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrashabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे। So thank you very much for attending today's Srimad Bhagavatam class, and thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And before I say a few words about this beautiful shlok, I like to seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas present on this call. So we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, which is actually a ripened fruit, like a sweet mango. And as we know that if the mango is so sweet and so nectarian, everybody likes that. It's a king of the fruits. So, but if that fruit actually is touched by a parrot, then it becomes real sweet, and everybody can enjoy it. So this is the fruit, which that's why Srimad Bhagavatam says Nigadatal Pataru Kalitam Phalam. So this is ripened fruit, and this is Shuka Mukharavinda. This is touched by Shuka Mukhar. And Shuka is the parrot, but this parrot is not just like an ordinary parrot, but this is very special parrot. So actually, if you see that Sri Vyasdev compiled it when he was really matured. So at that age, he had so much experience and so much realizations about the Lord. So he wrote it at the maturity of his age. So he put all, after writing all these Vedas and all the Purans and everything, he wrote Srimad Bhagavatam at the end. So this is the really beautiful Granth. That's why it is known as Grantha Avatar. This is the literal incarnation of all the Granthas of the Lord. So this is, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we read that after the Lord left this world, he is present personally in Srimad Bhagavatam. So this Srimad Bhagavatam actually describes all the various pastimes of the Lords and his activities. And also in the 10th chapter, we can read all his leelas, which is so beautifully described in Srimad Bhagavatam. And also description of some of his wonderful devotees, how they lived. So we get example, how to live this life. So this is, we are reading now, we are in the third canto, which is actually the Samvad, the meeting of the Vidurji and Maitreya Muni. But this chapter is very big chapter and it has so many other things. So in the beginning, we can see that how Vidurji inquiring beautiful questions which are so purposeful in our life. So this conversation actually continues till end of fourth chapter. So whole third chapter and whole fourth chapter is conversation between Maitreya Muni and Vidurji. And this chapter is very big. It describes creation, sub-creation, also the call factor, the time, also the embryology, how the baby develops from fertilized egg to the full-blown baby, like how he grows, how his fingers comes, how his brain develops, how his heart develops, what age his palpitation, like heart start pumping, those kind of thing. So this embryology is completely described, which was written thousands and thousands of years. And the medical profession is writing them now up like maybe 1500 years ago, and they are thinking that they are inventing something. But if you see the embryology written in Srimad Bhagavatam and then modern science, everything exactly matches actually. And it also says about the family life, the creation, and Sankhya Yoga also we will read Kapil Dev and Devhuti, Mother Devhuti's dialogues, how Kapil Muni is teaching Mother Devhuti. Also, it says about Bhakti Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga, Gyan Yoga, Karma Yoga. Also, description is given in the third chapter about the spiritual world and material world, and also description of the hell. So all these things are described, and we will enjoy this chapter very much. So this is the beginning of the chapter. We are in the first chapter. So we are reading here. In the beginning, we read already few shlokas. So we were reading about how Duryodhan actually told the bad words to Vidurji, and Vidurji actually was so gentleman, so much devoted. He was Yamraj, but somehow the other, because of course of Mandak Muni, he came to this material world as Dasi Putra. So, but he was a pure devotee of the Lord. And so Vidurji actually, whatever Duryodhana told him, he didn't took bad in the heart about him, he was still thanking him that anyway, what I should do now, rather than why he told this or I will do this to him, like mostly, normally, like we can see in the material world how the people behave, if you tell them something, they will kick you or they will tell you 10 bad words. But Vidurji, being a gentleman, he never did that kind of thing. So actually, a person's advancement can be seen how he behaves actually in unfavorable conditions. So this is the test of the person actually. If there is unfavorable condition, he will not start telling, Lord, why you did this thing to me, why you did this thing to me. He all the time is thankful to the Lord, and he thinks that actually why I am suffering because of my own deeds. I must have done something wrong in this material world, or I must have done something bad in the previous lives rather than blaming the Lord. So Vidurji took advantage of this situation. What he did, he actually, rather than thinking bad about Duryodhan, he thanked him in his heart that he actually did something good for me. Now I can go to the pilgrimage and I can do the darshan of so many deities. So today, in this shloka, what we are reading today, we are discussing about how he went to pilgrimage. So in the beginning, it says he began to travel alone. He went alone, not with somebody else. So that way, he can concentrate more and on the deity form of the Lord. and take association. So today we will discuss about Vidurji's pilgrimage and how he did darshan of the different places where he went. And we can see here in old Vidurji went like 5,000 years ago. So at that time, the word was not that what it is like now today, because at that time there was no facility of the nice comfortable buses or trains or aeroplanes, or helicopters, things like that. So people used to go on their feet, and they will walk. They will not carry too much luggage, So nowadays we take so much suitcases, so many clothes, and so much what I'm going to eat, what I will do, So lot of luxury things, when we go on pilgrimage now. Like I was thinking about going to Char Dham Yatra in the northern Gangotri, Yamunotri, and Badrinath and Kedarnath. But I was thinking to go rather than walking, because of my age. I was thinking I will go by helicopter. So this kind of yatra, doesn't give that much fruit. What people used to get in the olden days when they used to go out, they will think that I'm just going for the Lord. I may come home, I may not come home. People will walk months and months for Badrinath Yatra. And in the town, in a small village, somebody goes to Tirtha Yatra, then everybody will be chanting, doing bhajans every single day, pray for his nice journey, and so he can come back. So that used to happen in the past, in 50 years ago, 25 years ago, but now nothing is like that. People go very comfortably and do the yatra. When we go to Vrindavan, what happens? We all the time, we don't see the Vrindavan, but we see the modern city. And our bhava is not the same actually. So like 2 years ago, I went to Kishkinda, and in Kishkinda, I went by like luxury bus, and so everything so comfortable by plane and luxury buses, but those things when Vidurji went, nothing was available like that. And also he went alone because he didn't wanted any assistant. He was prime minister in Dhritarashtra's cabinet. So he could have got not 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever comfort he wants, he could have taken, and those servants could have carried his luggage and cook for him, and he could have done that. But rather than doing that, he thought that it's better for me, because whenever we are more than one person, we will chit chat, we will talk, and we will talk about all different kind of things, and most of the time we will talk about where I'm going to eat, what are you cooking, those kind of things, And so we don't take full advantage of pilgrimage like what Vidurji did. So Vidurji actually took full advantage of the pilgrimage. So what is the purpose of pilgrimage? Actually, there are two purposes. The first and most important thing is to take advantage of the pure devotees living in the dham. So that is most important thing. And we have to take advantage of their association, also hearing them very attentively. That's very important, because when we hear attentively, and then we have to apply those teachings in our life also. And in the dham, we can serve them. So this is the first and foremost important thing in the dham, that we have to associate with the devotees, pure devotees of the Lord. And also we have to do darshan of the Lord. There are so many temples in each dham. Like you go to Vrindavan, like even 50 years ago, there were 5,000 temples. But that's what Prabhupada used to say, that there are 5,000 temples in Vrindavan. So we can imagine there are so many, so we can see so many deities, and so many deities, self-manifested deities. So we can see to the darshan, and all the leelas happen in Vrindavan. So we can see how many places in India are where Lord performed leela in the different incarnations. So there are so many places we can visit. And Vidurji actually saw so many places. He went on pilgrimage for many years. So devotee association actually is very important when we, all the time, whether we live here or we are in pilgrimage, devotee association is very important. And we can read the nice shloka comes in this chapter only, 25th chapter, and 25th verse. Satam prasangam mama virya samido bhavantri hatkarn rasayanah katha tejyo shanat ashvapavarga vartamani shraddha ratir bhakti anukrameshyati. So satam means pure devotee of the Lord. Prasangan means getting their association. Mama virya. Virya means wonderful activities of the Lord. And Samvido means about discussion. So when we discuss the wonderful activities of Supreme Lord with pure devotees through their association, then what happens? Bhavanti Hrat. Hrat means the heart. And Karn means our ears. Rasayana Katha. So that Katha, that discussion becomes very dear to our heart and to our ears. It's like rasayan, it's like nice chemistry, for the ears. And then what happens? Shraddha ratir, bhakti anukramishati. Shraddha means the faith. Our faith increases. And our rati means our bhav, the love with the Lord. Anukramishati. And bhakti means devotion. So this devotion increases slowly. In what happens? Apavarga Vartamani. Apavarga, we know the Pavarga. Pavarga means Pa, Pha, Ba, Bha, Ma. So we work, so hard work. Pa means parishram. So hard work we do, and then the fame, we do so much hard work that fame comes, and then we go. Bha means Bhaya, the fear of so many things. Like if we work so hard and earn so much money, then we all the time have fear that the thieves will take my property or money, or government will collect me taxes and things like that. And then Ma means Mrityu. So this is the life, Apavarga. But here it says Apavarga. Apavarga means completely opposite of that. Means Pavarga means the path of material life. And Apavarga means path of liberation. So then this opens the door for liberation for us if we associate with pure devotees and discuss the pastimes and activity of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So if we do that, then our path for liberation is completely open. But those people, who go to other way, Pavarga, then the path for hell, the door for hell is completely open for them. So actually we should take advantage of the liberated people and nice devotees in the Dham. So that way what happens? Attraction to Krishna becomes fixed in our mind. And we are freed from all the sins. And then the real devotion actually begins at that point when we associate with the devotees. So how important is devotee association? And other thing is that we have to remember that actually we cannot do the darshan of the deities without association of the devotees. Because if we see the devotees, what is going to happen? If we do the darshan but not associate with devotees, then we will not have the same mood, same bhav about the deities. Because that thing, when we see the Lord in the form of deities, what happens actually that we have to have that kind of bhav, because sometimes we will just see the deity form of the Lord and just go away, but same bhav will not come in our heart and it will not give you the same benefit. So we have to get the blessings of the devotees, then we can do proper darshan. So people who do not take proper association, even in the tirtha, they are called gokhar. Khar means gada or fool, donkey. So in the Vedic literature, we hear this word so many times. So we can see how Vidurji went, and we have to learn from him that what is the proper way of pilgrimage. Because we go to pilgrimage so many places every year, we go, but we have to learn what is the best way, how we can take full advantage of our pilgrimage. So that thing we have to learn from Vidurji, because he was one of the Mahajans, and we have to follow the Mahajans. Mahajano yena gataha sapantha. So that should be our way to go. So Vidurji, we can see he traveled so many holy places, not just one. And he did darshan of so many deities and visited and associated with so many pure devotees of the Lord. So he took advantage, full advantage, and tried to advance his bhakti towards Lord. And he himself actually thinking very lowly about himself. He was not thinking I'm a great devotee or anything, because sometimes that pride is in us, most of us, that I'm the big devotee, I'm senior devotee, I'm this, I'm that, So that pride should not be there. So otherwise, we are behaving like Kanishta Adhikari. So there are three kind of bhaktas: Kanishta Bhakta, Madhyam Bhakta, and Uttam Bhakta. So Kanishta Bhakta actually is the Bhakta who just is self-limited. He thinks about himself only. He doesn't give any credit to any other devotee. He will never try to associate with any other devotees or hear from them. But opposite to that, Uttam Bhakta actually, he thinks that I'm so lowly and everybody else is more advanced than me. That's what Uttam Bhakta thinks. And he is equiposed. He sees every jiva souls, even not just the devotees or human beings, all jiva souls, he thinks that they are all same. A Madhyam Bhakta, what he actually, he thinks about himself, but he gives credit to other devotees also. He respects them, and he sees different devotees in different way. Like senior devotees, he behaves differently. Devotee of his own age, he behaves differently. To the juniors, he behaves differently. To the karmis, he behaves differently. So different people, he behaves differently. So we have to know the different. So Vidurji actually was thinking himself very Kanishta Bhakta. And because he was thinking that I have been associating with Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan, and they are so evil personalities, all so much envious. Duryodhan was very envious to everyone, especially the Pandavas, and he didn't wanted to give any land to them to rule, and he was so jealous. So he says that Vidurji thought that I'm in the politics for so many years and I'm associating with this kind of people, so actually I'm very sinful. So he thought that I should get out of all the sins, and associate with the devotees. And then this will be best for me to go to holy places. That's why he went to holy places. If he wanted, he could have gone to Lord Krishna directly, because Lord Krishna was living with Pandavas and visiting them so many times, so many years. Lord Krishna lived with the Pandavas. Yes. But Vidurji was thinking so lowly about him, so he thought that I will, excuse me, 1 second. So he thought that it's better for me to go to Tirtha and get rid of all my sins. That's why he went to Holy Tirth. He never thought that I'm so elevated that I can go and visit Krishna directly. He knew what is the value of Lord Krishna. So we also read the same kind of verse in the Bhagavad Gita also. It says that how we have to get first rid of all the sins, and then bhakti will really advance very fast. That is the only way. So it's not like we have to wait for all the papa to go away or all the bad habits to go away before we can engage in bhakti. We should engage in bhakti, but slowly get rid of all the sins, and then we will advance in bhakti very nicely. So Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 28 verse says, Eshan tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam tve danda moha nirmukta bhajante mam dridvarta. So Eshan antagata papam jananam punya karmana. So people, jananam means the people. Punya karmanam, who has acted very piously in this age, in this life, and in the previous lives. And Tvantagatam papam. So they have finished there all the papa, all the sinful activities, sinful reactions are complete, eradicated. So, and those people are, they are danda moha nirmukta. So they are away, freed completely from the dualities of delusions of this material life. So those kind of people, bhajante mam dradabharta, with very determination, they can do my devotional service. So here actually we can see that who is eligible to elevate in devotional service. Those people who are sinful, who are atheistic, who are foolish, and who are deceitful, like cheating other people. Those kind of people, it's very difficult for them to advance in the bhakti actually. But those who are practicing regulatory principles in the life, they are acting piously in this life, and they have conquered sinful reactions. They can accept devotional service, and gradually they can rise to pure knowledge, and they can perform proper bhakti for the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in Srimad Bhagavatam also, we can read 5th chapter, 5th canto, 5th chapter, we can see one nice shloka, Mahat Seva Dwaram Ahur Vimukte. So if one wants to be liberated, actually, he must render service to the devotees. Mahat Seva. Mahat Seva means the proper devotees of the Lord. Mahat Seva Dwaram Ahum Vipakte. So when we serve the devotees, then Dwaram means the door to liberation is wide open for us. So we can imagine, how important is devotional service. But on the other side, second line, this shloka says, Tamo dwaram yoshitam sangi sangam. Tamo dwaram means the door to the hell is open who associated with the materialistic people. So if he associated with materialistic people, then our door for the darkest region of the existence, Tamo dwaram, door to the hell, is wide open for us. So we can see how we can advance in our bhakti, and what we have to do. So that way we can learn actually. So one can attain the path of liberation and liberate from the material bondage by rendering service to the Mahat Seva, rendering service to the highly advanced spiritual personalities. And one should actually render service to the Mahatma. These kind of people who are Mahatmas, like all the Goswamis were Mahatmas, Srila Prabhupada. So there are some qualifications for Mahatmas. So Mahatmas was equiposed. They see everything equally. They will see like the dog, cat, all the animals, all the jiva souls completely on the same level. They do not see any difference between any living entity and one other. They don't see any difficulty. They are very peaceful person. Any opposite condition comes, which is not favorable to them, still they will be same. They will not get bewildered. And they are very peaceful. And they are fully engaged in devotional service. And they do not have anger. They will not suddenly get angry by anything. And they work for the benefit of everyone. So we can see, how the devotees work for the benefit of everybody, all the jiva souls. And they do not behave in any abominable way. So those kind of people are called Mahatmas. So we can see that Sanatana Goswami, he had parasmani with him, but he kept it in the garbage. For him, parasmani didn't have any value or any money or anything. He was just concentrating on the service of the Lord in pure devotional service. So these kind of people are Mahatmas. They do not have any greed, all this kama, krodha, mada, moha, lobha, matsarya, envy or anything, anger and greed and those kind of things, they do not have, those who are Mahatmas. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita also we read similar kind of words. Asat sanga tyag yahi Vaishnava achar. Istri sangi ek asadhu Krishna bhakta ar. So say asat sanga tyag. How the Vaishnava should behave? Vaishnava should behave by giving up the asat sanga. Asat means people, materialistic people. Like in second line it says, Istri Sangi, people who are too much attached to the woman, sex and sense gratification. And Ek Asadu, Asadu means the people, simply they are non-devotees, they don't believe in Krishna. So these two people we have to give up. So those are Asat. So on positive side there is Krishna Bhakta. So positive side there are Krishna Bhakta. So we have to, or the Mahatmas, we have to associate with them. On the negative side is the Sri Sangi and Ek Asadu. So we should not associate with the Asadhus. That means the people, who doesn't believe in the Lord or non-devotee who are woman hunter. So we should not associate with them. Then our life will be good. Otherwise, it will be hard, to progress in our life. So it is very important for us to get free from all the sins. And then we can, when we get us free from all the sins, then our bhakti will be very easy to go further. And one more thing we have to remember, that we cannot nullify the sinful activities by our punya karmas. We cannot do that. By bhakti, nothing will be nullified actually. Because if we do pap karma, pap will be collected separately. If we do punya karma, they will be collected separately. So they don't cut out each other. So if you do bhakti or chanting, then we think, that I can simultaneously do some pap karma, Krishna will excuse me. That doesn't actually happen. So that thing we should remember, that not to perform those kind of sinful activities in our life. Because sometimes people think, I can watch little TV or I can do some sense of gratification. So that thing actually there are sinful activities, and for a devotee, there should not be done actually. So we can learn these things from Vidurji, that when he was going on pilgrimage, he didn't took anybody, he went alone, and he was thinking only about Krishna. He was meditating on his activities. He visited many, many places, like many cities, many villages, many orchards, and on those places, everywhere he did darshan of the different deities of the Lord. So we can see nowadays in the Kali Yuga, and I'm not saying about what the Vidurji did, nowadays when people go to pilgrimage, they have different agenda, quite different. Some goes for religious reason, some goes for reason for healing, some goes for seeing some miracles. So there are different ways. So for religious reason, people who go for religious reasons, they go for atonement of the sins, so that, okay, my sins will be washed away if I go to Tirtha. So, and some people go to earn favor of the Lord, that Lord will be happy with me, so let me go for that. And that's not the bad reason for going to the Tirthas. And they want to secure better life or better new birth in the next life. If they go to Tirthas, that's what they think. Also, they want to deepen the connection with Supreme Personality of God. So other kind of people, they go to Tirthas for healing purposes. Like people go to Badrinarayan for different reasons, that there is Taptakunda. We all have heard about that there's all boiling water there, and people take the bath there, and all the sins goes away. But many people go for health reasons also. Because when I was in Badrinarayan a few years ago, I asked one guy that where are you from and what is the purpose of your visit here? And he said that my Vedyaji told me that I have the chronic skin disease. And if I take bath 3 times a day in this Taptakunda for 1 week, my skin disease will go away. So, he was not doing actually the tirtha, but he was doing his treatment of this material body, which is going to vanish anyway. So everybody is not in the tirtha for the proper reason, which is associating with devotees and doing the darshan of the deities. Like nowadays, people go for miracle also. And we all have heard about the Bhageshwar Dham. Nowadays, in Madhya Pradesh, in my own state, so many people are visiting that Dham because some magic happened there. He tells the future of the people and people are interested. So this kind of, that became a Dham actually. That's why people say Bhageshwar Dham, but it's a modern Dham. It doesn't have any bhakti or anything. So we should avoid those kind of places. So what is the biggest pilgrimage places in India? The biggest places is the Kumbh Mela. Srila Prabhupada also went there a few times in Kumbh Mela, and we heard that in the Lilamrita, we read about it, how beautiful Kumbh Mela is. There are millions of people visiting Kumbh Mela, and but it's really very crowded, and Prabhupada was giving very nice classes there. Other places of pilgrimage is Char Dham, Badrinath, Dwarka, Puri, and Jagannath Puri, and Rameshwaram. So Badrinath in the north, Dwarika in the western part of India, Jagannath Puri in the eastern part, and in southern part is Rameshwaram. So Rameshwaram is the place for Lord Shiva's temple, and Badrinath, Dwarka Puri, and Jagannath Puri, they are the place for Lord Krishna. So we should, when we go to India, we should try to visit as many pilgrimage sites as we can and do the darshan of the Arch Vigraha. So Arch Vigraha are really very important in our life, because if we do the darshan, we are actually seeing the Lord himself. And our Vedic literature teaching us that in order to facilitate us on our meditation to the Supreme Lord actually accept our services, and he can manifest himself within his own material energy, because whatever material the deities is formed, like maybe wood or stone or any metal or any painting, these all are material energy of the Lord. So he just comes in his own material energy and takes a form of that wood or thing. So Lord himself comes in that, and he doesn't comes like he is not representing the Lord. He doesn't come symbolically, but he comes factually. So Lord takes form of that deity. It's not like Lord enters deity. He himself takes. So actually deity is Lord himself. So any Sri Vigraha of the Lord is the deity form of the Lord. So he's real Krishna. So when we do darshan, we should never think that this is the statue of Lord made of wood or metal or stone or marble, whatever. So we should never think that way. And because these Sri Vigraha are Swayam Bhagavan, he himself, and he is completely non-different from the Lord himself. So this knowledge, actually, that the deities are Lord, we can learn and have complete faith in this thing by associating with devotees only. Without that, we cannot realize this thing. So when a karmi actually comes in the temple, he sees that many times people ask, what metal or what thing the deities are formed. So they are still seeing the things actually in the elements how the deities form, rather than seeing the Lord in that. So we can see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the Shishtastakam, he said, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nija Sarva Saktish Tatra Pita Nimita Smarane Nakala Etadashi Tava Kripa Bhagwan mamapi durdeva midrishyam iha jani nanuraga. So as Krishna appears in his name, similarly he comes in the form of the deities. Lord can do anything. So when deities comes in the temple, we are discussing this thing in our deity worship course, that we do the pran pratishtha, and Prabhupada was doing pran pratishtha very simple way in the beginning, but later on, nowadays we are performing elaborate pran pratishtha of the deities. So at that time, Radha and Krishna assumes the form of the deities, and then he accepts our services. So Krishna actually in the form of deities accepting our love, and he's willing to put himself under our care. And we can read in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam that how Mother Yashoda was taking care of baby Krishna. And he was thinking, my Krishna is hungry now, let me give him the breast milk, let him feed him, he must be hungry now. So how Mother Yashoda was taking care. But if you think that Krishna, who is the Lord of all the Brahmans, he doesn't need any of our services. Does he need care by Mother Yashoda? Not really, because he actually wanted, because Mother Yashoda was pure devotee of the Lord, he is eternal devotee of the Lord. So he wants to inspire her and facilitate her love and her service. That's why he becomes Mother Yashoda's son. And so that this is very wonderful lila actually. We read in the 10th canto. And so that same facility, like accepting our love and our services, Krishna gives us also in the form of deity form. So, like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam Yome Bhaktya Prayachasi. So, Bhaktya word is very important. By love and bhakti, if we offer Krishna Patram, Pushpam, Phalam, or water, leaf, flower, any of these things, then Krishna will accept it. So here in Philadelphia temple, our temple actually, we see the beautiful deity of Radha Sharad Bihari Ji in the form of Radha Sharad Bihari, that form, and he is here to accept our services and our love. So actually we should be very thankful to the Lord and try to see the Lord in that way and offer services to him as much as possible. So, and we should become very grateful to the Lord, that Lord came for me in the deity form and taking my services and my love. So this is actually causeless mercy of the Lord. And we should appreciate that. So he actually, in the form of the deities, he's attracting our heart and he's attracting our services. And ultimately, what he's doing, he's awakening our love towards him. So this is so much mercy we can see right here. Krishna does not need anything from any of us. He is Swarat. He's complete independent. He doesn't need anything from us. But we can see by his sweet will, actually, he resumes the deity form and facilitate us to offer services. We can see in the Jagannath Puri. I was there in December, January last year. So actually we can see that in Jagannath Puri, they offer him Chappan Bhog all the time, continuously. He eats one feast and second feast is ready. So people say that Lord Jagannath's hands are never dried. They are all the time wet. He never washes his hand because he finishes one feast and they offer him another feast. So he takes it. So he feast after feast, whole day he keep eating till midnight. And prasadam is distributed to thousands and thousands of people. So we can imagine how much mercy he is giving to all the people who are visiting the pilgrimage site of Jagannath Puri. So when Lord comes in the form of deity, he needs our protection. Like in our temple, we can see we close the metal gate and we put the curtain in front of that, and we lock the door of the deity room. And so we can see, that Lord needs this kind of service. He needs our food, because that's why we offer him so many bhogas every single day. And he needs to dress, so he needs dressing. The people, my devotees will bathe me, they will dress me. So he needs all these services from us. We expect that, and we should perform that rather than ignoring that. So in the home deity also, we should try to keep as simple as possible. Because if we do the elaborate puja and make it so complicated, then it will be very hard sometime, to perform. And if you have to go out and give the deities to somebody else for caring home deities, then it will be hard. So do as much as we can. Don't expand too much, so we can do it easily. It should not be a burden. In the temple is different story. There are so many pujaris and everything, so that can be taken care. But home deities should be, Somdepi puja should be very simple, and offer. If you offer 3 times, offer 3 times. If you offer 2 times, but all the time we should increase our service to the Lord, not decrease. Once we start, like we do chanting also. So chanting, once we decide, okay, I have to do more than 16 now, because 16 I'm doing for so many years now. Let me do 20, or let me do 24. So when we increase our chanting, then every day we should do the same thing. We should never try to decrease, because bhakti should increase actually all the time, more and more. So if we decrease, Krishna will not be that happy. So it's better to do the proper service, and we should have proper attitude of servicing. So Krishna is self-sufficient. He doesn't need our services, but whatever we do, either in a temple or home, we should doing it with love and devotion. That is very important. So this is very important and glorious attribute of the Lord, that he assumes this form to increase our relationship and relationship with all other devotees also, just to facilitate our loving relationship with each other and with him. In ISKCON temples, in the morning, we read the scores of how many books were distributed, like in Vrindavan and in Bombay and all different temples, we see that in front of the deities, we say how many books were distributed. So actually the owner is the Lord. Owner of the temple is the Lord, not the devotees, because it's all done for the Lord. So that's why we say the scores in front of deities, and what is going on, what is going to happen today, and everything is announced in front of the Lord. Similarly, in the olden days also, in the kingdoms, different kingdoms, the kings were actually acting as the servant of the Lord. They were taking care of the kingdom on behalf of the Lord. But Lord is the actual king. And in front of the towards deity, in front of the deities, they will announce that, okay, Supreme Lord, in your kingdom, this thing happened today, or this thing happened today, and so many money came, or so whatever going to happen today, they will announce in front of the Lord. And king were thinking all the time that I am the servant of the Lord and working on the behalf of the Lord, taking care of his kingdom. So this was the mood of the olden kings. That's why they were Raja Rishis, like Yudhishthir Maharaj, Amrish Maharaj. We can see the examples, how pious, and that's why kingdom was running so smoothly. All the water, rain was coming on time, everything was happening on time. So here, we are discussing how Vidurji's mind was fixed in Krishna, because he traveled to so many places. He traveled almost 35 to 40 years in the pilgrimage. And he went to, is described in this shloka, that he went to Ayodhya, Dwarka, Mathura, so many different places. And he was dressed completely as a mendicant. And he was not caring about his body at all, that. And he had very few clothes with him. And he also, like, his beard was so long. And one purpose also was that he was thinking that I should not be recognized that I'm the prime minister of the so big kingdom, because the Dhritarashtra kingdom was big kingdom actually. So he didn't want it to be recognized by anybody, and also his relatives also. That's why he was living like that, so nobody could recognize him, because otherwise they will ask of why you are here and this and that and chit chat. He wanted to stay away from all these things. In yesterday's verse also, it was nice verse we read, that how the energy of the Lord, the Yoga Maya, how it acts differently on different people. Because Yoga Maya and Mahamaya is material energy of the Lord, Yoga Maya is the spiritual energy of the Lord. They actually is the same energy, like air conditioner, sometimes it gives heat, we press the button for the cold, and then cold air comes, air conditioner starts. So it is similarly, it's a same coin. It's two different sides of the coin. So we can see, we are just the example of Vidurji. Actually, Vidurji was seeing the internal energy of the Lord, Yoga Maya, and Yoga Maya was sending him to pilgrimage site so he can do better, we can have better spiritual life. Similarly, the same Yoga Maya came in the form of Mahamaya to Duryodhana, external energy of the Lord, to the Duryodhana. And then he went, we know his end, he died actually in the Mahabharata war. So he saw the path towards hell. So the same energy was acting differently is Yoga Maya and Mahamaya. So we have only 5 minutes left now, so I will end here. Thank you very much for listening. And somebody has any comments, questions, we can discuss it now. Otherwise, we will end. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Kaivalaya Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Bol.
Very wonderful class. I really appreciated all the points that you brought out. I wanted to ask about, you said about going on pilgrimage and using the example of Vidura, how he basically left everything. He didn't take a companion. He didn't, he left behind the world that he was living, and he went out to really surrender to Krishna. And I think about how in today's world, everything is multitasking. We feel like I can go on pilgrimage, but yet I can still work from home, and then I can still do so many other activities while I try to add some type of spiritual life. And as a result, maybe the effect isn't as great as it would be if we just basically left everything, left our computer, left our cell phones, left we're just going and just taking complete mercy of the Lord. Is that possible? I guess I wanted to just ask you about the practical. How do we adjust our minds so that because we're so attached, and sometimes we even convince ourselves that, okay, I need these things, I need to take this, I need to take this, I need to take that. How can we get into this mentality where we say it's okay to leave behind technology, it's behind our attachments, so that we can immerse ourselves in the Lord?
Yeah, I think that's the most ideal thing if we can do, but it's very hard in the Kali Yuga, because we cannot compare ourselves with Vidurji, because Vidurji was Uttam Bhakta, and I am in the form of Kanishta Bhakta, so it's very hard for me to say. But yes, if you leave the cell phone, half of the problem is gone. Actually, should not carry cell phone and the laptop. during pilgrimage, because that's very detrimental. We all the time see who is calling me and who is the, so we cannot concentrate on the Lord. So actually, if we leave, even we go, for emergency, we need phone to get contact with. But see how Vidurji left everything and went on pilgrimage. So that's ideal. But whatever we can do, that's the best. Like when I was doing the parikrama for Puri, we will keep the phone in the room. So not taking with us, while listening the class, or because there were 15,000 people, we will not hear the ring anyway. So there is no sense, keeping the phone there. So that is the ideal way, to have the phone there, but not use it, shut it off, or leave in the room and go on doing darshan and everything. So that will be little more ideal, because when we go to Tirth, we all the time think where I'm going to do the breakfast and where I'm going to do, whether in Vrindavan, we think about going to Govinda or eat with the devotees or go to MVT, all the time. These things comes in our mind, like Vidurji never cared about. If some food, he get it, by someone's mercy, fine, he will eat. Otherwise, he will not even think about that. So, but his bhav was quite different. We cannot have that kind of bhav anyway. So, but we should think less about food and less about comforts and more about the Lord and associate with his devotees. So that's why association is very important, and we should hear as much as possible and concentrate on hearing, and then apply. Now, just hearing is not enough, but we have to jnana and vijnana. We have to have the applied knowledge, apply in our life. And that will be the best thing if we can do. It's not practical for everybody to have the pilgrimage like Vidurji, but whatever we can learn, that whatever we can do, that's the best thing.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Anyone else has any question or comments?
Very much,
No one
Prabhu,
has.
for the nice class. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Mataji.
And like Vidurji, it's not possible in Kali Yuga, but it is possible also. The way if we take, see, like younger age, they have to take care of the family, and then they maintain the family and need money. Without money, we cannot do anything. Those questions arise. But for senior age like me, I don't need anything. I'm done everything. So that way there's a little difference is there. But at certain limit only, certain we are making money. Sometimes we have a small house is enough, but we're not thinking like that. No. We need that other person has a big palatial building. Why not? Why can't we?
Yeah.
We're struggling. We need to have 5-bedroom house. Nobody goes into that bedrooms, but they need that house. So those kind of things, if we don't have, then we can live peacefully.
Yeah. That's why Prabhupada all the time emphasize that we should live very simply. So devotees do simply. That's the best thing, less distractions in the bhakti. But see, this Kali Yuga is all. In the olden days also, like Vidurji was not caring about what he's going to eat, but people were giving. At that time, any door you go, people will not send you empty hand. They will give you some food. Nowadays, you go to somebody's house and they will say, "Get out, get away." So
we have
that
to
is the
have
thing.
appointment. We have to have everything
Yeah. So
and we have to tell them.
Like Sanatan Goswami and all the Goswamis used to go to 1 or 2 houses at the most. Whatever they got it, they will eat. If they don't get it, they will not eat. But wherever they go, even first house, they will give him for whole day's food, So that was the system in the old days. The population was like that, trained that we have to help these sadhus, give him the food, so that way they can eat and bless us. So people were pious. Nowadays, all are sadhus. So They don't believe in the God. So that is the biggest problem nowadays. So what can be done?
It's very hard, we cannot think those olden days, but at the same time, if we think hard, some little bit we can do. Not that much, but like Vidurji. But we can do little bit if we think hard. If we determine we want to have strong willpower, and somebody has to have strong willpower. So that I always think that even now, at this age, I want to go back to all those pilgrimages. But certain things I had to listen to my family. So those things makes me not going there. But my heart is always there. Of course, luckily I went before when I was in good shape. I went all those places. So I keep on having those sweet memories, that's all. Vrindavan I had, and Mayapur I went. And Puri Jagannath, of course, I used to go every weekend I used to go.
Really?
We used to live in
Great.
Cuttack. That was the blessing he gave me, the Lord Jagannath. I did just parikram to inside the deities. And I keep now at my house, when I'm thinking every day, I think that I'm doing the parikram. By heart, I think by my heart, that's all. I cannot go physically. So those things are there, Prabhu.
Yeah. See, Vidurji, we see he didn't take even his wife with him. Although she was so pious and she was very great devotee, because Lord of Krishna, she fed Lord of Krishna the banana pills. You can imagine, how Krishna was close to them, but even though she was so much devoted, still he didn't take her with him. He just went alone. So we can imagine, how concentrating he was when he was doing the pilgrimage.
Even Prabhupada was doing. Prabhupada did like that either. He was he didn't have even a penny in his hand, and he just came here with $40, I think.
Yeah.
Nobody can do like that, dare like that, leaving family.
It's very hard. You go without money, nobody will give you any favor.
Nothing will happen.
On the street, you have to buy the tickets and all those things. So you should have some money, but not too much to live very luxuriously. But
comforts
some money.
Also.
Yeah, comforts. We should not look for comforts of simple life. Yeah. As simple as we live, especially in the pilgrimage areas, that's a better. So we can concentrate on those dhams, on Lord Krishna, rather than thinking about something else. So that's important.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Maharaj. So we will end here now. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय।